Hello. I hope everybody has had a good week. Let's start with an update on my Muppet of a puppy who looks so innocent. Maybe she is, but she horrified me this week. We have had, you're going to know where this is going immediately, but we've had this little area in our backyard that my puppy Akila has been watching over and sniffing. And I had this sense it was probably a bunny nest. The bunnies decided to leave the nest yesterday, right at the time I let my dog out in my fenced in backyard without a leash. She took a bunny in her mouth and started running, and I was crazy woman in my backyard, screaming at the top of my lungs. I don't want to say her name right now because she's sleeping right there. I'm like, drop it, let her go, stop. And I'm like screaming. I looked and sounded like a lunatic, even though you really couldn't see through my fence, but you could if you looked. And sure enough, somebody comes walking by as I am screaming and going crazy. And she's like, "It's okay. The bunny got loose." I'm like, "Except for the one that's still in her mouth." Oh, you guys, I didn't sleep very well last night. I did not sleep very well last night. I kept waking up saying, "I'm so sorry, bunny. I'm so sorry, bunny." I may have cried. I may have screamed like a ridiculous lunatic. And I may have had to pick up a bunny that was no longer alive. It was extremely traumatic. I was very angry at my dog. Even though I know that's what they're bred to do, hunt, I just couldn't get over it. Not in my yard. Today, my one pair of favorite flip-flops, I had to bury those too. She got to them, and she's never done that, so I never hide them. I put them in the same place every single day since I've had her, and she's never touched them. Until today, she ripped it apart. I've had a week with my puppy. I think I need a break from her. But my son's still not home from camp, so she is kind of something to talk to around here. Oh my God. So that's been crazy personally. I've been on video all day. So today we had a virtual play date with our families who adopted over the past couple months, and we share stories, and I just kind of wrap them up and talk about how to prepare for support as an adoptive family. So we did that. And that was cool. And one of the things that somebody said in that call, in that Zoom meeting, was that I think my question was, what was the thing that surprised you the most, or what advice would you give someone, something along those lines. And he said, at some point after we matched, it stopped being about me and it started being about the expectant mother and her decision and her health and her well-being and her support. And I just thought that was so amazing for him to say, especially coming from a guy. And I thought that was really selfless as well. That was a cool thing. And then right after that conversation, I had a conversation with a birth mom who I've talked to in the past and I've gotten to know inside our Hopeful Adoptive Parent group. So if you are a hopeful adoptive parent or thinking about adoption, search on Facebook for the Adoption Roadmap or Hopeful Education and Community for Hopeful Adoptive Parents. So inside of there, we had a conversation with a birth mom, and the conversation was about how she felt after she had chosen a family and waiting to hear on whether they also chose her to become a match, how she felt when she was looking through profiles, how she felt when she was on her way to meet the hopeful family for the first time, because we're always so caught up in our own emotions, right? And all the what ifs we create in our mind, and the is she gonna change her mind, or does this feel right? All the things that we as hopeful parents question as we're going through the process. She was questioning the exact same things and going through all the what ifs in her mind too. Now, she was also struggling with, is this the right thing for me? And it ultimately was. And so we just kind of went through how she knew this family was for her and all the feelings that she had as she was going through the process. prior to the birth. So it was really interesting that on that same day, both my family said it became about her and not us. And the birth mom was like, I was so worried about not only was I making the right decision, but what the hopeful parent was doing. We had a match this week, so that was exciting. We had a couple other situations that we have families presenting to. I mean, that's going on all the time, but ones that were sent to me. So that was exciting too. I think that Ashley Mitchell just came up in my feed too. Big Tough Girl, I think is her IG handle. She's a birth mom, and she's been having this conversation about open adoption and really getting me to think about things that I had never thought about before. So that's a great conversation to tune into as well. This month is all about the adoptee perspective. And so today in our email that we send out, we talked about language, using the correct language and helping not only to educate ourselves to be able to use the right language, also educating others after we learn. Because it's so important. The words our children hear are so important to their own self-identity, how they feel, how the world perceives adoption. So we have to really choose our words correctly. And it's not enough we don't get excused just because we are in the adoption community, just because we're an adoptive parent, just because we're an adoptee or a birth mom. We don't get excused to say, oh, but you know what I mean. That's not what I meant. Well, that's okay. And I know there's no ill intent, but we have to be careful of our words and always be thinking of what would our children think if they heard this language being used. So that's what we talked about in our email today. All right, that's all I've got for you today. Just a short one. That's it. If you ever have any questions, feel free to DM me, IM me, message in the comments below, and we're always monitoring. So I hope you're all doing well. Have a wonderful weekend. Peace out. Bye for now.